Good morning. It's May 31st, 2020, and I am finally planting my tomatoes and peppers in my front yard garden today. The weather has not been cooperative, and I was determined in the fall that I was going to get all of my plants in the ground by Mother's Day. Well, Mother's Day was May 10th, and that day is come and gone. The weather has not been cooperative. It has been rainy. It has been cold. We had fear of frost late this season. So it's been kind of a debacle. So I wanted to get my tomatoes in the ground, and I wanted to share with you what I've learned on YouTube on how to plant them. And I used this theory and method last year, and it was extremely successful and helpful in my garden. So I wanted to share with you how I do it. These are my tomatoes, and you want to do a little bit of pruning on your tomatoes before you end up putting them in the ground. So what I do, and this is a little bit scary if you've never done this before, but trust me, it works. I've had a plant sale here for the last 3 weeks, and every person that I sell plants to, I do this to one of their tomatoes, and I ask them to please plant in the method that I'm showing them, and then do what they want with their others, and compare the two. I truly believe gardening is a learning experience, and it's your education, and if you can learn by what you're doing and realize if something does not go right, that it's not a catastrophe. There's always next year. So what I do with my tomato plant is I trim everything from the bottom up very carefully to not disturb the skin, just like this, until I have 2 or 3 branches at the very, very top. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to plant this entire plant in the ground up to here. So that's about a 8 to 10 inch hole that I'm going to dig to put this plant in the ground. Now, I'm not sure if the camera will show you this, but let me see. Hold on one second. I want to get this in here. I cannot see with my sunglasses on. Where's the plant? Here it is. I don't know, maybe you can see it. The fibers that are on the trunk, those fibers that are on the trunk, those are roots. I didn't know that when I started gardening, but those are roots. So if you plant this in the ground, all of these roots are going to spread out sideways and adhere to the dirt and the soil, and they're going to get the nutrients from the ground that it needs. Hey, I'm shooting a video here. Sit down. Stop it. There, now she'll... No. Hold, please. Okay, dog diversion handled. Sorry. This is just some of the problems that I have living in a rural area. I'm right on a corner. It's very busy. It's Sunday. I got mowers over there. I thought they were done, and now they're going with the weed whacker. So we'll go with it. I just want to shoot this really quick because I'm getting this garden in really fast today. So back to what I was saying. Those roots are fibers. Those fibers are roots, and they are going to grow out and grab hold of the dirt's nutrients and feed the plant throughout the season. So I'm going to plant this up to here. I've already dug my holes out, and before I put this into the ground, what I do is I take some eggshells. I've been collecting them and having friends collect them for me. I take a full eggshell, like the top and the bottom, and I crumble it up into little bits and pieces down in the bottom of the hole. And it's in there, and I kind of wiggle them around. To what I'm told by the people of Facebook and the people of YouTube is that gives a lot of iron to the plant. Also is supposed to do something with repelling slugs. I don't know how a slug would get on my tomato plant, but I've never seen one, but I'm going to avoid them if I can. Also, I'm going to put about 2 tablespoons of fertilizer in there. I use a fertilizer, I don't know the name of it. It's for tomatoes and flowers, and I just put 2 tablespoons in the bottom. I did this last year as well, and it worked just fine. Put it in there, mix it around a little bit, and then also I have garden soil that I buy because I'm planting in the ground and my soil is really hard. It's not clay, but it is really hard. I did till this last year, but I did not till it this year. And so I have garden soil that I'm going to put in here after I put the plant in, because this is kind of soft and it will give these roots a chance to kind of grab hold of something and get some nutrients out of it. In the garden soil, I also mixed in like a 4-to-1 ratio of manure. I use either mushroom compost or manure compost that I can get at Home Depot or whatever, the big box stores, because I don't compost, and my compost isn't going to help me with all of these plants out here. So I think it's $2.50 a bag, and I use a 4-to-1 ratio just to give it some organic matter in there. So I'm going to go ahead and plant my plant. I pull them out. You can see the root system looks really nice. These plants were started, I think 4/23. Nope. All my tomato starts were on 4/4. So April 4th. Then I stepped them all up on the 30th of April. And this is May 31st, and this is what they look like today. I'm going to stick that in the ground. I hope you can see it. A little bit you can see it. And now I'm just going to kind of snug it down in there, and I'm going to start filling it with garden soil. I carry this little garden soil tub with me around my garden with another container of the fertilizer, another container of the eggshells, so I kind of have my own little operation going from hole to hole. I plant that in there, push down the dirt, and then after you plant, even though the ground deep is pretty wet, you want to make sure that you are watering these really heavy after you plant them. After I get it in the ground, I even put some of that harder earth dirt over the top and push it down nice and tight. And then I'm also going to mulch this around the bottom with some wood mulch, and it's going to hold in moisture even more. If you notice, I'm actually on landscaping fabric. I always line my entire garden bed with landscaping fabric. We haven't had water for about 5 days now. It hasn't rained at all for 5 days. The last time we had rain, it was about 1.5 inches. And as I dug my holes today, my ground was still muddy. So landscaping fabric is good for two things that I love. Controlling weeds. I don't have to pull weeds. And number two, it holds in moisture. Water does get through the right landscaping fabric if you buy the right stuff. And then it also controls your weeds for you. After I cut out the hole, dig the hole, put the tomato plant in, and cover it back up, I just pull the plastic back over the bottom, and that's where I'm going to put that wood chips or the mulch on top of there. And then my plant is good to go. Let's go to the second hole. Let's see. I'm going to move the camera. I don't have a start or stop or anything like that because I don't have fancy camera equipment, and I don't edit. So please bear with me. I'm going to do another beefsteak tomato right here. I'm just measuring my hole, and that's good enough. Let me get some of those hard clumpies out of the bottom here. I dug these holes a couple days ago, and they're still really wet in here. We've had some really mild days last couple days. It's only been in the 70s. Yesterday I planted with about 12 volunteers at my church, our church garden. We planted 40 tomato plants in the ground and over 120 peppers. Very excited. There's my eggshell. There's even worms down in the hole, which is always a good sign. Fertilizer. And then my plant, trim it up. Remember not to disturb the skin on the trunk. You don't want to disturb that. And then I'm going to leave 3 little branches on the top. Your main trunk and then 2 sun arms. Squeeze my cup a little bit and then pull it out. And you can see the root system is pretty nice on there. Stick it in the hole. And massage the roots a little bit and kind of break them up that's on the root ball down there. Let them know it's time to wake up and get to work. Oh, the weed whacker. Love it. I hope you can hear me okay. I just want to share with you what I've learned on YouTube because my tomatoes did fantastic last year, and I wanted to share it with you because I know there's a lot of people out there growing their own food these days, especially with COVID and all of that wonderful stuff. There we go. Planted them in the ground. I'm going to make sure that I do a really good healthy watering on these plants when I'm finished. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10 more plants to go in my ground garden today, and then I'll be finished with my tomatoes in my front garden. Then I'm going to do some bucket gardening on the side of my house, and when I get to that, I will make sure to shoot a video on that too. There's a little bit different method to planting in buckets on the side of the house. Have a good rest of your day. Again, it's May 31st in 2020, and I'm planting my earth bed garden today with my tomatoes, and I wanted to share with you how to do that. Hope you have a great one. I hope you come back and watch the next video, and I will see you then. God bless.